contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing your hosts, Kids at Heart.
Hello, everybody, for a special Wednesday Wrestle Reel ski. My name is the Mexican Nightmare, Chris Anthony Lopez. Joining me is Tugboat, Nick Molbach, and we are the Kids at Heart. Nick, can you, actually, before we start the show, so we apologize for not having a show last week on Friday. We had some scheduling issues, and I was not feeling so hot. Burnout's real, people. And burnout's incredibly real. Take care of yourselves.
Seriously, I was gonna say that is my my big stance on anything is burnout is real. I had a couple of things that were planned, then weren't planned, that were planned. So I needed Friday night anyways. We were trying to figure out a day to go, but like I said, treat yourself. Freaking, if there was anything from the last episode that we recorded, is that mental health is incredibly important, and we're in the tail end of Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yes.
So, that said, Chris Anthony Lopez, you have been very, very, very eagerly waiting. Hashtag Wapboy Summer, by the way.
Yes, you already know, baby.
Why my name is Tugboat. Also, I'm sorry that Yoshi is passed out over there.
You're fine.
Anyways, I just realized.
Getting some sun.
Oh, friggin' man, it has been so hot around here. As you can see, my face is burnt from the sun. Although it looks here like it's actually tanned.
What's the temperature out in Cleveland right now?
Right now it's 71, so it's not that bad, and it just rained, so it's a little cool. So I had the window open over there just to make sure that my room cools off finally. I'm doing some laundry so it doesn't smell like wet guy in here. That said,
gotcha.
That said,
what's up, Taylor in the chat? Wrestle Reel, baby. You already know what the deal is. Repping his raised liver and onion t-shirt.
Oh, really? No kidding. We were celebrating Ray's Liver and Onion's birthday, so I lent this shirt to somebody to wear while we were celebrating Ray's Liver and Onion's birthday, because a couple weeks ago it was National Liver and Onions Day, and I finally got it back. So I just threw it on because, like I said, I'm doing some laundry right now, and I think my MSK shirt is currently getting laundry done, and the other WrestleMania shirt I did the lawn in, so it's gross. Anyway,
Tugboat.
Yes, my room smells bad. Anyways, so I was watching a Cultaholic. Shout out to Cultaholic. Maybe one day we'll have them on the show.
Big love.
I've been doing nothing but listening to Cultaholic. Apparently, I transitioned from watching all the Wrestling with Regret videos over and again to now watching through a bunch of Cultaholic top 10s, which, by the way, I haven't actually done. A ton of. I'll regularly watch them if they're uploaded, but there is 300 of them. And they do rankings of pay-per-views that I finally started to listen to, and it's been really interesting. Adam Pacitti does everything, and I love him. That said, they did a top 10 list of people you didn't know were supposed to be WWE champion.
Okay.
Do you remember the storyline that rocked the world where what's his name? Where Sergeant Slaughter appeared as an Iraqi sympathizer?
Yeah, I do. It was the worst day ever.
Tugboat was supposed to be that guy. It wasn't supposed to be Sergeant Slaughter. Tugboat was supposed to be the sympathizer gimmick, and he was supposed to be WWE champion.
Oh, that's Tugboat.
The Shockmaster was supposed to be WWE champion.
Oh my god!
Isn't that crazy?
You should have said that it's Typhoon. That's the same guy.
Yes.
That's crazy. It's the same guy. Yo.
But isn't that insane that, I don't know, in an alternate universe, Typhoon, Tugboat, Man Shark or whatever his name is in the Shark Boy.
Shark Boy.
Yeah, not Shark Boy. In friggin' the I want to call them the Masters of the Universe, but obviously that's not what they're called. The Legion of Doom. No, Dungeon of Doom.
There you go.
He was supposed to be the sympathizer gimmick, and he was supposed to be in Sergeant Slaughter's place. But to be honest with you, I look back on that and I go, how was it not? I mean, the goal was to get heat. Tugboat would not have gotten as much heat as Sergeant freaking Slaughter did turning on America. So, like, I don't know. That's just a little piece of wrestling history that I didn't know about. I mean, I've learned so much about useless facts about wrestling by watching these top tens, but like, and useless in the way that, like, I could probably do well at a trivia night because of it. Wrestle Reel trivia would be insane.
Wrestle Reel trivia, yo, we had to do that. We got to do that one day.
Yeah. Pin the two of us against each other.
Yeah, we can do wrestling trivia.
We could call it Quizzlemania.
Wait a minute, we can't call it that.
But yeah,
those guys do that, right? No. Wrestle Talk. Parts Unknown. They do that.
I listen. I'll be honest. Love Blampier. Glad he's back. Mm-hmm. I usually hop in like an hour into one of those Quizzlemania videos, and I still have no freaking clue what's going on in those videos. I do not understand it at all. That said, we're back. Chris Anthony Lopez, did you watch any wrestling this week? Because this is a super show. This is going to probably run a little bit longer than usual. Probably not too much longer, but
we have an unprecedented, for the second time, 5 counts on the show today. We do have a lot of wrestling. I did watch some wrestling. Like, I did watch some of WrestleMania Backlash to my own chagrin, but I actually want to have another. What can we call this? You can call this Chris's Toy Corner, because I made another purchase.
Yes.
I bought Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero, the Funko Pop, exclusive to GameStop. It has a pin in the inside. I don't know if you can see it.
No way.
For WrestleMania 20.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't open these, so it will stay in the box. The pin will stay in the box. As cool as the pin is, and I love the pop. I love the tips, the bleach tips. I was hoping to do that with my hair when I went home, but that didn't happen yet. We'll do that one day. But great pop. I love this. I'm looking for all the newer wrestling ones, at least the ones I like.
Well, I was going to say, I have not gone pop hunting in a very long time, because it's not that I'm growing out of it, but I'm only grabbing ones that I want. But I'll tell you, that is an easy way to decorate this background area when it comes to Wrestle Reel. And my cousin and I are going to one of the bigger malls around here very soon. Therefore, if I see anything that I like, I might end up picking up a couple of wrestling pop figures to fill out the background area. Viva La Raza, absolutely. Is the Jerry Lawler one out? I kind of love that one.
No, okay. So you sent me that line, right? And it was it's like Asuka, the new Roman Reigns, and Jerry the King Lawler, Rey Mysterio. They had a Target exclusive Xavier Woods, which that's at the top of my list if I'm being frank.
Can I be I just have to ask. Mm-hmm. Is it just because it's an Xavier Woods pop figure? I thought that they've released them before.
No,
so what's special about that?
I know I have. I don't think I have it here in Oklahoma. That's the crazy part. I have a 3-pack of the New Day.
Right. Yes. Right. That one I knew existed.
They have the solo pops as well. This one's just a little bit different, and it's just Xavier. It's not the whole New Day. So that made me like, But I do want some of those new ones. I'm so glad you sent me those. I'm like, now
Montez has one coming out.
Yeah, both Street Profits do. Him, Montez and Dawkins. So I'm eager to get them the new ones. A lot of these are newer. Like a lot of these, because I went a while without buying new pops. Yes. And I just been feeling myself lately. So I've been buying a bunch of new pops. And I bought Seth Rogen's book. This has nothing to do with wrestling. Seth Rogen's book. Nice. I bought that over the weekend. It has nothing to do with wrestling, but yeah.
Well, I was about to say the last pop figure that the last pop figure that I bought myself at like a mall or something like that is Ava DuVernay. But the last pop figure that I actually received was one that I didn't even realize, and I have another 2 of them coming for that reason. I pre-ordered the the Ben Solo from Rise of Skywalker that came out 6 months ago, and it just randomly showed up at my house. And I ordered Matt and I the Spike Lee where he's wearing his Oscars outfit, and those are supposed to be coming in at some point. Like, I see a box sitting from Amazon on my counter, and I'm just like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, all right, cool."
I love I love buying things and me forgetting about them and then just pop up in my front door. That's the absolute best thing ever. But Ryan, I see you in the chat. Ryan Christensen, what's going on, brother? Just wondering what your thoughts are on the upcoming Double or Nothing pay-per-view for AEW. I know the fans are going to be nuts and add so much for the viewers. Yes, full crowd at Double or Nothing this upcoming weekend.
You know, we could talk about Double or Nothing.
Yeah,
but in count number one, we're talking about AEW. So
yeah.
I think we should just hop right into that. Also, by the way, this is another 5 counter that I do not have 5 for, so we're going to be doing our little fun.
There you go.
We're in 1. I just wanted to say how we'll be adding things up later.
We're doing math here on the show, and typically in wrestling, there's not 5 counts. Big E did it for a little bit, but for the sake of this, we're going to add. But this first one,
we're going to get to a 10 count, and we're just going to have a referee slowly counting to 10.
Right, one of these days.
At a very uneven pace.
But AEW, right? So we're going to tie your question in, Ryan, into this. But AEW is getting more TV time, and they're also moving channels as well. They're staying with Turner, and they are moving to TBS next year because of hockey. Tony Khan has been real coy about this ever since the TNT NHL deal has been made. Rumors were that Dynamite was going to move off of Wednesday, and we're like, "Oh, whoa, where are they going to go? Is it going to be Thursday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday?" Nope, they're moving channels entirely and presumably sticking on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. But they're also adding for now on TNT AEW Rampage, brother, at 10 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. So after SmackDown, right into AEW Rampage. Nick, before we talk about Double or Nothing, what are your thoughts on these new shifts or these upcoming shifts to AEW television?
Well, when I heard it was happening, I was like, "That's quick." I mean, for Dynamite to be moving already, is bizarro land to me. Also,
weird.
Just Rampage being on as late as it might be, because I think that you had said 10 p.m. Eastern time.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Which, technically speaking, Raw goes into that 10 to 11 period, right? And AEW is technically more for the markier fans anyways. I just want to know what Rampage is. Is Rampage going to be a show hosted by Rampage Jackson? Is Rampage going to be literally like... is Rampage a second brand? Because if Rampage is a second brand, they're giving that the ECW WWE treatment where it's only an hour. And I don't know. To me personally, second brands should probably be around that 2-hour mark if they really want to make them like competitive and stuff like that with each other. If that's what they're going for. Because you obviously don't want to alienate like your fan base. You know what I mean?
Totally. And honestly, I think the assumption with this, I don't think they've solidified what's going to go down with AEW Rampage, but the assumption is that they will be doing the more hardcore, bloodier things on this program. It'll not be a separate brand. It's only an hour long. It's not a 2-hour show. So expect more lights out matches. Expect more blood and guts-esque things on Rampage. That's the perfect avenue to do it. It's a Friday night. You can get riskier with your programming in the evening on network television. And what's going on, Jesse Swift in the chat? Thanks for dropping a like. And don't feel uneducated, brother. All you need is an hour, 2 hours with the Wrestle Reel boys, and you'll get to know what you got to know. But with Rampage, it'll just be Dynamite 2.0. It won't be anything too crazy.
Which is interesting, because WCW didn't have a second brand. Now, at the time, Raw didn't have a second brand.
They did other shows.
Right.
But so it was all the same
This is
people.
what feels like that's what's going on right here. Because, like, you know, the second that AEW gets a second brand, like does a brand split type thing, in my opinion, that's what it sets them above the rest when it comes to all the other, like, WWE competitive. Well, think about it. Have any of the WWE competition in the brand split age of things, meaning when SmackDown was introduced to the crowd, because obviously Raw was their thing, versus WCW Nitro. You know,
Right.
the second that they create a second brand, do you think that sets them above all the other competition?
I don't want to say it sets them above, because it honestly, yeah, it's pro wrestling and it's on a weekday, but they're kind of hard to compare because
They are.
they're
100%.
different types of programming, and WWE is obviously more family oriented and AEW is not. They're for us mercs every single Wednesday for now. Then it's gonna be Wednesday, Friday on TNT or on TBS/TNT. I don't know when Rampage goes over, probably when Dynamite does, but AEW, once they get a second brand, because I do feel like it's inevitable with how large the roster is, a second brand of sorts, if they ever go to that, then yes, it will make them stand out, but it'll still be because they're new. They're still brand new, and I know on this Deadline article it says that they're currently in season 3 of Dynamite. And it's really awkward having wrestling shows in seasons, but it is what it is.
Well, yeah, but like, I don't know. To me, and there's an invisible season thing with WWE. You know what I mean? Like the Raw after WrestleMania kicks off the next season of WWE.
They always have the season premiere episode, which they don't really do anything special for anyway.
Right, but that is strange. Although I would like to name some breaking news. I got a notification on the side over here. Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. I didn't even know Trevor Murdoch was in NWA.
I didn't know he was still wrestling. Oh my God.
So he could be world champion soon. Anyways, yeah, I think that it's really tough. You know, does Rampage eventually just get lost in the crosshairs of things? Does Rampage continue storylines? Because here's the thing, like WWE has shows that are outside of their brand. We all know the tale as old as time that Main Event and Superstars start back up because they all were shows back in the day, technically speaking. But back in the day, they utilized them the right way, where they actually had their bigger stars appearing on these shows and stuff like that. You know, This is dedicated to lower mid-card echelon talent. That is unfortunate because it's lower mid-card echelon talent. But it doesn't always feel like anything like that carries over into the main storylines. You know what I mean? You know, we have Ricochet and going after the U.S. title potentially now, but nobody's talking about the fact that on Main Event, he's going to be having a best 2 out of 3 falls match with Ali to settle the score technically, because nobody's watching Main Event. So I wonder if AEW will utilize this to their advantage, because if they do, then this is them utilizing their other shows in order to, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, they're already doing this technically to me, in my opinion, because you know, After Dark is After Dark. After Dark is basically like the dark matches of Dynamite. But
Dark and Elevation,
but like Elevation, Jon Moxley just appeared on Elevation. So at least AEW is using their talent on their shows, that because like first friggin' match of WWE Superstars, I remember it distinctively because I watched it. The first main event of WWE Superstars was Undertaker versus Matt Hardy, when Matt Hardy was a heel. And he had those weird purple trunks that he wore, and I hated it. Or tights, that's what it was. Now it's only Main Event, obviously, and nobody gives a shit about Main Event. I don't even remember the first Main Event. But I want them to use Rampage to actually elevate the storylines that are going on Dynamite, because WWE is not using that for Main Event.
No, and I 100% agree with you, and I think that's what they're going to do. To point out Ryan's comment in the chat, if Rampage can be like Sunday Night Heat that WWE did, should be good, and we'll continue storylines going on. And he thinks that Rampage going into Saturday's pay-per-views for AEW will be a good thing. And
but even so, that notion. Didn't Heat eventually just turn into another boring wrestling show?
No, and I mean, these shows that aren't Raw, SmackDown, now Dynamite. They don't carry as much weight as obviously these big proper shows, because they're in times and in these recognizable time slots, and they're being pushed a certain way. Rampage is the second AEW show, and Dark and Elevation both on YouTube. Granted, it's YouTube, and let me put that out there now. They sometimes get more viewers on a weekly basis than Impact does on TV.
Right.
So they're definitely utilizing all God knows how many hours of AEW have in a week in wrestling, but it's a good thing. And with Rampage, them emphasizing this stuff, because if they did not give a shit, they would be putting all this on Dark and Elevation, and we would be calling it a day. We'd only be talking about the move to TBS, which is also a pretty big deal in regards to content. But I'll address that in a second. But Ryan, again in the chat, that's why AEW is Dark and Elevation. Yes, for like everything you said, Nick, that's why Dark and Elevation exists. So you can have the lower card talent have them shine, have them do whatever they want. WWE does misuse the hell out of main event. They do on a weekly basis. Granted, Ricochet and Ali are wrestling. That's great, but it gets tiresome after they wrestle for the 50th time on the 50th straight show. You know what I mean? Well, so for Rampage, I think this will be the third hour of Dynamite on a different day for the more intense things that you can't show at 7:00 on a Wednesday. So at least Central Time, but like 9:00, 9:30. Once you start getting later on a Friday, it's no holds barred, baby. Plus you're on TNT for right now. I think it'll be for the more intense wrestling, like those lights out matches. I think we'll get more of those.
And it's like I want main event to WWE doesn't care about main event. I remember main event would be and shout out to WWE for starting to tour again, I guess. Yeah,
it's cool.
It's cool.
I'll get to that.
And like I'm only mentioning that just because it's like when I went to SmackDown once, they film main event before they do SmackDown. And like I didn't give a shit about whatever was going on there. So I just want, because I could imagine that Rampage probably isn't going to be live. Or did they confirm that or deny it?
I don't think they've said if it was going to be live or not. It'll probably be pre-taped after or before Dynamite.
Right. So I just, for AEW's sake, keep your other shows continuing to strive in the direction that WWE's extra shows do not. Because though,
job of that too.
Right. Because though it might not feel like it right now, it feels like Rampage is more like a main event because it's not really like another brand than it does a SmackDown. You know what I mean?
No, and it can come off that way, and especially since we're like WWE has trained us to think so, because these extra shows, they start hot and then they fizzle out really fast, and then they stay on.
I need
TV.
to know what the first main event was.
I want to say it was like CM Punk and somebody else. That's my guess. I don't know exactly, but what'll also be weird is the move to TBS. Yes. I know the move is fueled by sports. TNT is prioritizing the NBA and the NHL for obvious reasons. Okay, great. But since they're sacrificing that Wednesday time slot because of hockey, which Tony Khan confirmed, by the way, it was the worst kept secret in the damn wrestling world until Tony Khan's like, did the NHL have to do something about it? Sure. But moving to TBS, you stay with Turner. You go to a more, I don't want to say family friendly, but it's a lighter network. And Ryan said this a little bit earlier. I think it's just going to be collateral remove for Dynamite. Both channels reach the same number of households. They will definitely not. The move to TBS won't be as smooth as I think it will, as they think it will be. At least I believe so. Changing networks is difficult. Not everybody is aware that you're changing networks. You could tell them. We can come on this show every single week. If we had 1 million people watching us every single week, and we said we are moving to what we're moving to our own channel. What Real Wrestling. Every single Friday, we're going live every single Friday. What Real Wrestling. We'll say that for weeks.
We'll lose all those viewers. Yeah.
We'll lose at least half. Like, just because it's not easy to transition like that, especially to a whole different channel on TV. But they'll slowly regain their traction. It's not like it's a whole different network. It's not like they're moving to Fox or ABC. It's TBS. You stay under that same banner. They'll be fine. It'll just be a weird transition from 1 week Dynamite TNT to the next week Dynamite TBS. And I wonder if the presentation will be different. Doubt it. But I think it's a valid question to raise. Right. Will the presentation be different? Will it be on a different day? Will y'all stick to Wednesdays? How is that going to go? Because I think right now it's perfect. Raw, you got damn NXT, Dynamite, Impact, SmackDown. I think it's perfect. But it'll be awkward. It'll be an awkward transition, especially with them switching channels entirely. Taylor, click in the chat. What's up, Taylor? What Real Wrestling should be an actual wrestling federation? Wait till 2K22 comes out, and we can do What Real Wrestling on that. That's a game I'll get, dude. Is 2K22. It looks great so far, and for the sake of GM mode, I'll do it.
I have to ask you this: do you think that Kenny will actually be 69 by Don Callis on Rampage because it's darker?
69 me, Don. 69 me, save me.
No, the one thing I will say is that on What Real Wrestling, we're going to 69, like how Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley did at Full Gear. But before we move on,
Goldberg, what the hell?
Goldberg, come on, man. Ryan wants us to talk about Double or Nothing.
Yes.
So I pulled up the card for Double or Nothing. So we could do some quick predictions, some quick thoughts on the pay-per-view itself. Wow. It is crazy to me that this will be the first full 100% capacity wrestling show in over a year. And this will be a big show on paper. There's a lot going on. And some of these matches I didn't know were announced, but I mean, by all means, let's do it. The first one, Serena Deeb and Riho out of nowhere.
That just got announced, yeah.
And NWA World Women's Championship. More like, where's Riho been? I know COVID and I bet her flight to the States is not easy. But Lord, like Riho's back, baby.
And what's with the NWA? I understand that Serena Deeb is the NWA Women's Champion, but is it like just to get them more exposure now? They're just defending that title because I know FTW, which we'll get to eventually on this list, is Taz's title. Like
that's just that's a personal belt. NWA, it's a whole different company. Billy Corgan owns that stuff.
And I mean, we just talked about how Trevor Murdoch is facing Nick Aldis for their world championship. So it's like, because Serena's not signed to AEW, right?
So this is a weird thing, right? I thought Thunder Rosa was not an AEW superstar, but they just gave her merch. I don't like the partnership between NWA and AEW, which is, by the way, only for the women's division. Only for the women's division.
They need it. Don't get me wrong. They need that.
and it's great, and I'm glad Riho's facing Serena Deeb, but it's just weird. I don't think the belt's going to change hands by any means.
No, it's probably because of that scheduling thing. I mean, and think about it this way, like, but see, this is what's confusing to me. It's like, why, if they're going to be doing this, it's just like the TNA thing where the Impact Championship is now appearing on AEW. It's just like, why is Serena not challenging Hikaru Shida for the women's title instead? And I mean, don't get me wrong, we're going to get to that part on the list, and we all know who everybody here is picking for that match. But I don't know. It's weird. I think that the NWA women's division is clearly elevating it to a new level if they can come up with a completely new match for it. But Deeb, I agree.
Facts.
She's winning.
Yes, I don't think they'll change. I don't think the belts will change hands on AEW television, but this match is going to rule. Riho and Serena Deeb, they're good at what they do. They're really damn good.
I'm glad Serena Deeb is still wrestling. It's just like,
yes,
WWE effed up on her just because she was caught drinking outside of. That's why that is the reason why she got released. Another cult. We should just have like a cultaholic fun fact. thing of here on the screen every single time that I think of one now, because I'm just gonna be like, Serena got freaking released because she didn't give a shit about WWE's rule against her not drinking because of her character in the straight.
She broke kayfabe.
Yeah, she kept doing it. So like, I'm just like, love that. Like, she just doesn't give a shit. Like, that's awesome.
That was a great run too. I love that.
Shame on you, WWE, because you had something going with her.
The Straight Edge Society was so slept on. One of these days, I'll go on and on about them on this show.
Let's do a retrospective before Brian Zane does.
Of the whole Straight Edge Society.
Then he'll have to shout. We'll figure out when he's going to do it. So he'll have to shout us out when we release ours first.
Right. Moving on to on here it's put second, but we'll talk about it here. It's the triple threat match for the AEW World Championship. Kenny Omega, obviously, Orange Cassidy, and Pac. They haven't had too many triple threats in AEW.
No.
This might be their first one on pay-per-view? I don't know how many triple threats they've done, but I think this is the worst kept secret that Kenny's winning this match. But it's fun to include Orange and Pac in the main event scene. It refreshes things up. It's not just the same.
Actually squeezed it.
Yes, it's not just the same Mox and Kenny stuff. Mox, we'll talk about him later. But I think, Kenny and Orange and Pac are going to put on one hell of a match. Orange will definitely get pinned. What's up, Suge? Let's go!
The baby.
Let's go. But yeah, it's the worst kept secret that Kenny's been in this match.
I mean, like, who dethrones him is the issue. Like, I don't understand. I don't know.
You already know, Suge. Who dethrones Kenny Omega?
Well, that's gonna be like a whole nother friggin' video, or that will. Or
that could be a whole different count for a whole different day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've said it on the show before. I think it's going to be Hangman, but again, I don't know. It could be anybody.
They've lowered Hangman Page though on the card so much.
I mean, they put him with the Dark Order, and after Brody Lee passed away, the Dark Order went away for a little bit after they gave him his tributes over those few weeks, and they haven't been doing much since.
Right,
but Hangman Hangman's the charge that they needed. And Ryan in the chat, he says Orange will steal the show, but Kenny will retain. I second that.
I think Pac will steal the show, to be honest.
Ooh.
I knew what he could do as Adrian Neville, not Neville, Adrian Neville, and I just want that back. Even though obviously I think he's a better heel when he was a heel in the cruiserweight division. I think that was his best work. But I also know what Neville can do, or Adrian Neville can do, and I just want Adrian Neville back. You know what I mean?
Sure. And I do second that notion on Neville's best work that I've seen him do was the cruiserweight stuff, and he was heel. But at the same time, he's doing the same thing here. It's the same thing.
I know.
So Pac hasn't changed too much, but this is gonna be one hell of a match. This is gonna be so much fun to watch. And if this main event, there are some main event caliber matches in this thing, and this may not main event because I think another one will. But this match is gonna rule. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I like them freshly squeezing out the main event scene. Moving on, this one I don't think we'll talk too much about because we talk about it every week. Hikaru Shida versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, for the AEW Women's Championship.
Britt Baker.
Britt's going to take this with ease. I don't want to say ease. Britt's going to take this. I think it's time. In front of thousands of people, give the belt to Britt. One of the best things in wrestling. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves for the show. But she broke out this year in the last few months. And having her win the belt off of Hikaru, thank you, Shida, for carrying the belt through the pandemic.
Their women's division for so long. It's the thing.
Right. And I do think she'll lose for the first time in front of thousands of people. In well over a year. So Hikaru Shida, thank you, but it's time to get Britt the belt.
Yes,
it's the worst kept secret in AEW. If they don't give her the belt, if Britt does not win, I will come back on the show next week and cry about it and bitch and moan and complain like usual.
I will.
This next match, kind of weird. Anthony Ogogo versus Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. So all this Cody Rhodes and Elite feuding and garbage has been going on. That's been like the talk of the. Ooh, I just bit my tongue. The talk of the town over the last few weeks in regards to AEW and the higher ups. And Cody's only been feuding with Nightmare Factory people for like the last year, and I never noticed. Like I just never noticed until recently. And Anthony Ogogo, he looks like an animal. He looks nuts. I'm just like, what the hell? Cody's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean,
Cody's totally gonna win.
Cody doesn't book himself into a corner. I mean, come on.
I would be shocked if Anthony Ogogo beats Cody Rhodes. Anthony Ogogo should win.
Yes.
He should. I don't think he will. I think it'll go to Cody Rhodes. And Ryan, I see your comment, brother. Shida had a good run, but the doctor's in, baby. The doctor's in.
That's right.
You already know what the deal is. But and Ryan also says that Cody will turn heel and Ogogo will win the match. But isn't the Nightmare Factory, or I think they're just called the Factory, Nightmare Factory? Aren't they already heels? Is he gonna align with them and be like, hey, now I got all my goons back? Like I don't
Nightmare Factory.
Right, like I don't want to see Cody Rhodes' gimmick be, I have this school of wrestlers and they're all my lackeys. Like throwing, I don't want him to do that.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Yes.
I'm the Mexican Nightmare. I'm the Mexican. But no, I don't want to see Cody turn heel. I want him to stay face for a little bit longer. Plus, when Brandy has her baby, I think Cody will go away for a little bit longer. So I think, if anything, I might change my mind. I think Ogogo might win this. What happened?
You think he might write him off TV?
Yeah, I think Ogogo might beat the hell out of him.
Because Brandy's got to be due soon, right?
I think so. So I think he might beat the hell out of him and write him off TV again. Because Cody was off TV for a while.
Yeah,
came back just to put over Ogogo.
They delivered that promo that.
I don't want to talk about it. That's sheesh. Taylor in the chat before we move on, because this is already becoming a long count. Have either of y'all watched Army of the Dead yet? Is Dave Bautista the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time? That's a great question.
Have you watched the Army of the Dead tie-in match with the WWE and saw The Miz die?
The Miz tore his ACL fighting zombies. That's one hell of a sentence, ain't it? I have not watched the movie yet. Is Dave Bautista the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time?
If you're talking serious roles, maybe, but I still got to go with The Rock.
That'll be a fun discussion to have.
Yes.
Taylor, we might have to bring you back on the show, brother, and talk about that. That might be a what conversation. We can all have that as a group, talking about wrestlers turned actors. So we'll table that. And
Hulk Hogan's the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time.
What? Yeah, RP the Miz, man. Parma will never be the same. Look, I don't think the Miz's left or right ACL. I think it's just partially torn. I think that's the thing that Meltzer said. It's only partially torn, not entirely, because my man's older. In age. So, and Taylor would love that. He would love to. I think that's a conversation we can all have. Maybe not just a Wrestle Reel conversation. Maybe the next Wrestle Reel talk, if we have one of those anytime soon, or we might just have to have everybody on Wrestle Reel. Who knows?
Wouldn't that be nice?
We will. We'll talk about that. We'll have to table that. I do want to talk about that on a whole separate occasion. Let's talk about the Casino Battle Royale.
Wait. Before we do that, do you think that the Miz will come back as the ECW zombie? I was trying to pull the clip, but I couldn't. I just want, which that will be in the library soon for sure.
That will be in the Wrestle Reel archives.
The Miz definitely needs to come back as the ECW zombie.
Right. Oh God, I hope not. Okay, so Nick, you have to bear with me for this. Yeah. It's the Casino Battle Royal. Winner receives a future AEW World Championship match. Now, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Christian Cage, Matt Sydal, Powerhouse Hobbs, Penta El Zero Miedo, Jungle Boy, Matt Hardy, Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy, The Blade, Evil Uno, Colt Cabana, Preston Vance, Griff Garrison, Brian Pillman Jr., Max Caster, who I adore, by the way. I love the Acclaim. The Acclaim, my new favorite tag team. Anthony Bowens, QT Marshall, Nick Komoroto, Dustin Rhodes, Lee Johnson, and more to be announced. But presumably the winner is already announced. Nick, who you got?
Well, okay, now that Christian Cage, maybe
that seems easy, right? That
seems too easy, though. I
guess it
guess
has to be a face. To me, I think it has to be a face.
Yes,
and Christian definitely fits the bill for that. I'm gonna get weird. I'm gonna say Jungle Boy.
It could be Jungle Boy. Brian Pillman Jr. would be one that I would want.
That'd be awesome too.
Gosh, that's tough. It's if Hangman Page ends up in this match, then I would go with Hangman Page.
Ooh, okay. Have him win. He won one of these already.
That's true.
I'm picking Jungle Boy. I feel confident in Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy could be your guy. I would say Christian right now, just by the way that it's kind of playing out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like this could just be one of those things where they just throw something at the wall and see what sticks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like book a wrestler out of nowhere to win it. I mean, you know, are you going to give Dustin Rhodes one last run? That could be interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, for all we know, it could be somebody who isn't even announced yet.
Right. It could be someone. It could be a surprise entry. It's
right.
a first show in front of a live crowd. It could be somebody new. But as of right now, as of 5:45 Central Time on May 26th, I'm picking Jungle Boy.
I'll take Christian.
Christian Cage for the sake of Wrestle Reel's predictions. And Taylor Click in the chat. Army of the Dead could qualify as some Wrestle Really Scared.
Ooh.
We can. Well, I would look. I know y'all are doing the really scared stuff, having people on every week. If we want to schedule a little something, maybe like a bonus really scared, and have us go on y'all's show instead of y'all coming back on ours, I'd love to do that. Or we could just have y'all back for some Wrestle Really Scared. That's cool too. We can rock with that on a Friday. But we'll chat. We'll chat, Taylor. We'll chat. Moving on. Speaking of Adam Page, him versus Brian Cage.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that Hangman Page is facing as Brian Cage for the FTW Championship, right?
That's what the presumption is. If he beats Brian Cage, he'll get the belt, but who knows if that'll actually happen. Yes, Taylor, we'll have. I know you and your client Rick Radis.
My person is this guy.
Yeah. I know y'all are pretty busy nowadays, so we'll
just look up www.hakeemtheafricandream@gmail.com and you'll get him.
Yeah, we'll just holla at him. But
holler if you hear him.
Yeah, I got Adam Page beating Brian. I have Adam Page beating Brian Cage.
Does Page need this though? Does Cage need this? Is the question. I feel like they haven't done a lot with Cage, really.
Damn it! I don't think either one of these guys really needs it. I think they're both fine as they are.
I think Brian Cage is going to win this.
Ooh. I'm going to pick Adam Page. Because I like to think that Adam Page.
Somebody else actually hold the FTW title?
No, you're right.
I wouldn't mind it, but I think Brian Cage needs this.
No, you're right. It's Brian Cage.
Not that either wrestler needs it, per se, but I do.
No one will get hurt in a loss.
Right.
Yeah, it's Cage. I changed my mind. It's Cage. Page, he will be in the main event scene by the end of the year, though. Because whoever the hell wins that Battle Royal will get first crack at Kenny before anybody else. Yeah, damn. Oh, yeah, I got Cage. All right. Miro, Lance Archer, TNT Championship. Who you got?
Miro. Keep the title on him.
Yes. This is going to be a great feud going forward. This will not be the first and only match. This feud will continue. Is Lance Archer the face in this situation?
I don't know.
It's not Miro.
I honestly think that Darby and Sting get involved in. Well, no, I guess Darby and Sting are facing against.
It's Sting's first live match in front of a crowd with AEW. Which is Ryan Christensen in the chat. What's up, Ryan? I think Cage beats Page by cheating to add more sympathy. Babyface run for Page.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think some shenanigans will be a part, and Cage will take the dub. Who is involved or what's involved? Probably Taz. Maybe Taz. Who knows? But in regards to Miro, Lance Archer, I love the Murder Hawk. I think he's been kind of squandering in AEW's mid card for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you take the title off of Miro so quick, right?
No, I don't think you do either. I think this is the breath of fresh air Miro needed after WWE's release his release last year.
Well, I would like to just say that, like, I think AEW is smart enough to realize that there's a lasting effect of a superstar. It impacts everything, in my opinion.
That's it.
If Miro loses the title after he beat Darby Allin, it takes away from Darby's run.
Yeah.
And Darby's run was so historic with the title and, all the defenses and everything like that.
Undefeated for 16 matches or something.
That I think that it makes sense. And if Darby's going to be like the Sting of AEW, I'll wait until you get your headphones back on to say this. I think that there's a chance that Darby Allin could take the title off of Kenny Omega.
Ooh!
If he's supposed to be like the Sting of AEW,
that's a good one.
He'll be lurking in the shadows, watching the Elite just ruin everything. And by ruin everything, you know what I mean? Because that's what they did with Hollywood Hogan and Sting. And you can tell that obviously with Sting being there and AEW trying to be this competitor, that they could right a few wrongs, perhaps, that WCW fucked up a long time ago. That's my one.
That's your one, baby.
But okay, sorry. But just my whole point was, if Miro loses the title, then Darby's title reign isn't as meaningful. So
no, and that's good. I didn't even think of that. That's a good way of looking at it. But to piggyback off of that, might as well just do that match: Sting and Darby Allin versus Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Sting wins. I mean, like, in front of a live crowd.
Oh, LOL, Sting wins?
Well, it's not even that. It's just like WWE screwed up with Sting so badly by having him lose his first WrestleMania and only WrestleMania match. In my opinion, it makes sense for Darby and Sting to go over, especially to avenge his loss to Miro.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to pick
Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page is going to be TNT champion in the near future. Maybe even Scorpio Sky.
I want to pick Sky and Page so bad. I'm gonna pick Sting and Allin, but if Sky and Page win, I'll pop like there's no tomorrow.
Well, and I think Sting and Allin win because of Darby Allin, not because of Sting. Like, because Darby Allin needs to continue his huge forward momentum that he has.
Yeah.
To eventually, in my opinion, be that guy that potentially dethrone Kenny Omega.
Woo,
that's my pick right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Woo! I like your thinking. I like how you're thinking. Ryan in the chat says Jungle Boy will be the one to take the TNT title off of Miro down the line.
Not a bad prediction in that.
That's not bad at all. I'm thinking big picture of Jungle Boy. Ryan's like baby steps.
I think that it needs to be baby steps too, though, because here's the thing with like a Jungle Boy winning that battle royale. Because here's how you, and I understand that we've been on this segment for a long time, but
no, I mean, it's fine.
This is a super show.
It's a super show, baby.
For Darby Allin, or for Jungle Boy to win, the way that I see that breaking down is Jungle Boy will look like the complete underdog against Kenny Omega, don't get me wrong. And that's the way that it should be booked. But he's going to look like an underdog to the point that Jungle Boy should beat him. And it's not going to happen. And when that happens, Kenny's going to look more like a Reign of Terror Triple H than he is going to be like his own thing. As in, like, he's really, really, really befuddling these wrestlers and beating them handily, and that's not helping their momentum. It'll be like when Jungle Boy, or it'll be like when Triple H feuded with Booker T or with Kane, and I know that Jungle Boy and Booker T and Kane are very different wrestlers, but you know what I mean. Like where Booker T especially, like where Booker T, it just felt like the right time for him to take the title off of Triple H, and then because of the subtle racism that was involved with that gimmick that they don't like to bring up, and the weird ending to that match that he takes one pedigree and then they're laying on the ground for like 15 minutes. Ooh. It's just like, I don't want to see Kenny Omega become that, which is why I think the Jungle Boy baby steps to eventually maybe becoming something like that. Jungle Boy could be the Rey Mysterio underdog type thing of AEW, but in my opinion, you need to book him that way. And if you're going to make him that underdog, he needs to win the title like Rey did at WrestleMania.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, when I picked Jungle Boy earlier, that did not I wasn't trying to say, oh, he'll take the belt off of Omega immediately.
Right.
No. I think Kenny will have the belt through the summer and he'll lose it at All Out whenever All Out was at All Out 3, All Out 4. In August, so I think that'll be the move. And Ryan, I'm assuming you're talking about Triple H. He did that against Jericho, and unfortunately, nothing has come from
exactly. That. It's like I don't want certain wrestlers to become so befuddled that they lose their momentum because Kenny needs to win. There's people that can survive that, and there's people that can't. Moxley can survive getting beaten by Kenny a million times. You ruin a lot of momentum with a guy if they lose constantly, and they're young.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my opinion.
No, and I totally understand it. The more you were talking about it, the more I can buy into that Darby Allin thing. He has to get done with Sting first. I think once the Sting stuff. He could always manage him, but I don't want Darby Allin to rely on Sting to win belts.
No,
I don't like that energy. I think Darby he did it himself. He can continue to do it himself.
Right.
But you mentioned Moxley. He has a match on Double or Nothing. It's him and Eddie Kingston versus the Young Bucks for the tag belts. And this is really interesting. Do you think the Bucks drop the belts to Kingston and Moxley?
I want them to because again, my romance with Eddie Kingston is just going to keep growing and growing, but I don't.
A real crush.
The Elite needs to continue to be as dominant as they are, in my opinion. And I don't know if that means that eventually it's going to be the Young Bucks versus the Good Brothers for those titles instead, continuing that joint thing. But in my opinion, the Elite needs to continue to be dominant. So
to do the thing that they said they weren't going to do.
Wait, what? Sorry.
You want them to keep doing the thing that they said they weren't going to do, and have all the belts.
because again,
at the same time.
But that continues to build the brand.
They needed to do it. Yeah, I'm over that narrative. They needed to. It's a global pandemic was going on. You needed people to watch your brand and your TV. You put the belts on the most popular guys, the Bucks, Kenny, and Darby, and that was one hell of a move. And at the time, Brody Lee, may he rest in peace. Holy hell! What I want Mox and Kingston to win. I think the Bucks just retired SCU, man, and I don't want that. Yeah, it's the Bucks. Not Moxley and Kingston will win eventually. They'll win those belts, but not at double.
They should.
And I think they will.
Because having a belt on Moxley makes sense for your brand.
Right.
Whether it be because he can continue to elevate. And I honestly do think that AEW's tag team division is substantially better than the WWE's.
Ooh, you said substantially.
Well, yeah. Come on.
Substantially?
Yes. Because the WWE continues to break up tag teams.
It's definitely better. I'll say that. Ryan in the chat says the Bucks will lose to Moxley and Kingston. I hope you're right, Ryan.
I do too.
I hope you're right, brother.
I want Eddie Kingston to be great, and I want Moxley to continue to be great. And I really hope that Wild Thing is permanently his entrance because I love it, even though you don't. And yeah, Moxley, Kingston, I hope win, but I don't have really high hopes that they will. So,
yeah, I mean,
69 me, Don. 69 me, save me.
I hope they 69 on pay-per-view. And the match that I think will main event the show, not unfortunately, because of the ramifications of it, it's the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle, Stadium Stampede, and what Tony Khan and AEW are saying will be a unique viewing experience for the fans, whatever that means. So it's pre-taped. And
you're going to be watching it on a big screen over there.
Right, ideally
That's a unique viewing experience.
It's 3D, bro. They got the glasses on.
They got a hologram projected onto the instead of bugs. They're projecting hologram onto the friggin'.
They're watching the match on the mat, but it's at wherever the hell it's
projected onto the mat, like the bugs were at WrestleMania.
Yes.
Now, Stadium Stampede, even though I haven't watched it, was apparently like one of the best matches ever.
Dude, the first one's great. The first one's awesome.
And it's Pinnacle versus the Elite.
Inner Circle.
Versus Inner Circle. So
Inner Circle loses, they disband forever. So in wrestling terms, like a year.
It's about time.
Oh,
why not? Oh. Although I think that the Inner Circle could be getting their revenge win on
the Pinnacle
from Blood and Guts or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with going either way, because I want Chris Jericho to have meaningful feuds with other people as well. And it feels like the Inner Circle has been holding him back from doing a lot of other things.
Ooh.
I'm not saying winning the world title again, but because I think that one world title reign in AEW from Chris Jericho is all they needed, because they needed to push it to the.
That's their first.
They needed the star power at the beginning.
You got the name.
I have a feeling he'll compete for it again, but I don't know if he necessarily needs to win it again. So, we'll see. I'm ready for this match to be really good. I expect it to be really good.
Damn it.
While you're thinking, I brought up the Booker T Triple H thing and forgot to play this.
You mean my son is Caucasian?
So anyways, remember, anytime WWE does something stupid, I'm playing that.
Yes, which is surprisingly all the time. The Pinnacle.
You mean my son is Caucasian?
Go on.
The Pinnacle should win.
Yeah,
I wish they didn't have this stip of the Inner Circle disbanding as a team forever. Like I don't like that stip. I don't like stips like that. I like Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle a lot. He elevated each one of those guys just by having him in a faction. Oh, damn it. I think that Inner Circle wins.
And here's what I'll say about that as well. Is there's something to say about the idea that the Inner Circle needs to stick around, because what are you going to be doing with the guys in the Inner Circle beyond the Inner Circle? You know what I mean? And I don't say that in the fact that I don't think any of them can be pushed to the moon. I think they all can. My point to that is, what do you do when you're already only having a 2-hour-long show and you need to book all these people? At least if you keep them together, there's something for them to do.
Right.
So, I want this to be the last match versus the Pinnacle, because I want them both to move on to more meaningful feuds, because this has been going on for a while and it's been built up really well. And you would have thought that MJF winning Blood and Guts would have been the end of it. It probably was the perfect way to end it. But I think a Stadium Stampede match, which is AEW's first really big gimmick match, and they're not overusing it, and they're using it in the right way, will continue to elevate these guys. Now, just like he was for in my opinion, I went back and I watched that Blood and Guts match, and what's his name? Sammy Guevara was the MVP of that match.
Sammy Guevara got so many goddamn
bumps. Will he continue that in this match? I want to see Sammy Guevara take so many more bumps this match.
The one thing that makes me confident in the inner circle, shut up, car.
Damn.
That makes me confident.
Somebody's trying to get the fuck out of there.
Right. Is that the inner circle lost their Stadium Stampede match last year. And to your point, Sammy Guevara took a one-winged angel from Kenny Omega, like in this, and that's how the match was won for the Elite. I have the inner circle winning. Ryan in the chat has the inner circle losing, breaking up. Sammy goes in the singles run, proud and powerful. Finally gets that tag team run. I hope to God they do regardless. Hanker goes to Darker Elevation, and Jericho goes off to tour with Fozzy, which is typically why you write off Jericho so he can go tour.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, really.
But I still think Inner Circle wins. I still think so. Because they lost last year, and they're about to go 0-2 in Stadium Stampedes. I can't see that happening.
Yeah.
Even though they're the faces now, I think I got Inner Circle. I like your thought process, Ryan. But Inner Circle, I got them winning the match. Pinnacle, they benefit greatly from a win, though. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Whew.
If MJF looks strong, then they're fine. Because Pinnacle is not anything without MJF, and in my opinion.
No. Yeah, I can agree with that.
As long as MJF looks strong, I don't care who wins. Because I want them to continue his forward momentum. They're going to run into that tricky spot where, like, they're running into that tricky spot, but also are thriving in it. You know what I mean? Where we think that a certain person should be world champion, but at least they're stuck in meaningful feuds that shy away from the fact that they should be. Because, you know, your main event scene is going to become very clogged in the AEW, where WWE's main event scene is incredibly clogged, and they continue to just shit on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what is Kofi Kingston doing in the main event now, even though we know Drew McIntyre is going to continue his feud with Bobby Lashley? It's like...
and that's
another discussion for another time, but I'm just saying, like, it's like the NXT way of things, where everybody could be NXT champion in NXT, but at least, we're getting potentially Phantasma versus MSK, and then you got Kushida potentially feuding with anybody at this point. Now that Santos Escobar is potentially going after Bronson Reed, like, holy crap. Like, they're giving meaningful feuds to, especially Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar going to NXT bolstered his credit so goddamn much. But, like, my point is like, they're at least elevating their talent, where WWE's main roster is not. I hope AEW continues down that path, where I'm not clawing at the bit for MJF to be world champion, because I know he could be off doing something else that's good. Same thing goes with Darby Allin. Same thing goes with certain wrestlers in there. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
Where it feels like Moxley should be the AEW freaking world champion for the rest of his life. He's at least in this tag team with Eddie Kingston that I can sink my teeth into that. That's why I think that their tag team division is stronger than WWE's. Because nothing means anything anymore. You know, when Rude and the Dirty Dogs became tag team champions, I didn't give a shit about that. Now that the Mysterios are tag team champions, I'm going, oh, I get it now. But I'm just making a point that it's like WWE is giving me a really hard time. And I know that the Usos inevitably are going to become tag team champions, and the division will feel okay again. That said, AEW's tag team division is continuing to impress me every single week.
Sure. The one thing I will say in response to that, which I'm kind of echoing your point, the feuds on these wrestling promotions that don't have belts, to me, is where your quality lies.
Exactly. That's why WWE is lacking.
Right, because at the moment we only give a shit, at least in regards to WWE, which is this the perfect transition? Yeah, in a way, where you have a bunch of people in the mid card squandering, doing nothing, while in NXT there's a bunch of feuds going on, sans belts, that I'm rocking with. Like, they had Pete Dunne wrestle Bobby Fish last night. Oh, yes, please. I'll take that every day of the week, twice on Sundays. Yes. Does NXT have a lot of belts going around and they're utilizing them well? Yes. Can't see the same for WWE unless you're SmackDown. But again, it's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. AEW is on fire right now.
That's why we spent an hour talking about them.
That's why we spent an hour talking about them. Plus, Double or Nothing has a great card.
Yes.
And this could be a really fun show. But we will find out when the time comes. What was it, on Sunday?
Yes.
Yes. No, Saturday.
They do Saturday pay-per-views.
Saturday pay-per-views. So, yes, on Saturday, we'll see.
Moving on.
We'll see, baby. I like it.
Oh, sorry.
Sunday. It's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
Yes, it's the 30th. But something that happened last week that we didn't really get to touch on because of us not having a show was the releases for WWE/NXT. There's not too many of note to talk about. I know some of them that really caught me off guard. Alexander Wolf came out of nowhere.
It sucks.
Yeah, and he did specify that his contract does not expire until the 15th. So he will be free agent on the 16th of June. So that's the thing. Vanessa Bourne caught me off guard. Jessamine Duke getting released from NXT. That's another big one. They released some referees, Jake Clemens and Jake Wirtz. And Wirtz had his own stuff going on, and we're not going to discuss that. But the one...
well, let's bring up the Raw one today that got released, just so we could quickly get rid of that one. WWE released, I keep forgetting his name, Burke.
Adnan Virk?
Yeah, they released Adnan Virk. They did replace him, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That was making its rounds on Twitter as to who it was.
It's like Josh Smith or Justin Smith.
Yeah, he's some like, I don't know, MMA guy. Anyway.
Yeah, he's a Bellator dude.
So, and he's already moving on all the way up. I'm just kind of like, ugh. But
and we'll get to that in the fourth count. Like I will tear that to shreds once we get to 4.
Yes.
But in regards to this one, Wolf caught me off guard because Imperium's still around.
Yeah.
Yo, like what? Imperium's on TV every week. Ryan in the chat, he has to go. Love talking wrestling, man. Love talking wrestling with you, brother. I know last time I saw you, we didn't get to chat too much, but we'll have to have you on the show sometime, Ryan. Really cool guy, Ryan Christensen in the chat. But yo, Imperium's on NXT TV every single week,
right?
And Alexander Wolf has been a part of Imperium for I don't know its whole run.
Yeah.
So, or a majority of.
Well, then they kicked him out, and then he got released. So it's just strange.
It just felt forced to me, and I know I saw this thing earlier today where he said that before the Pandy happened, they're supposed to reform Sanity to feud with Imperium. So it was like Dane, Eric Young before because he got released on that Black Wednesday. So they were going to reform Sanity to feud with Imperium. That would have been awesome, but they didn't pull the trigger on it because of the pandemic. And I know some folks didn't like wrestling every week, and plus, Walter was overseas and stuff, so it was rough. But damn it, it just felt weird. It felt weird seeing Alexander Wolf get released just out of the blue. And Vanessa Bourne, I thought she had a lot of potential. I like Vanessa Bourne when I got to see her.
AEW will scoop her up.
Yeah, I think Alexander Wolf too will go somewhere and he'll succeed.
He's apparently going back to Germany to wrestle.
Word, great.
So
all power to him.
Drive over there. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah. So the Velveteen Dream finally got the boot after a year of allegations of things that we're not going to talk about on the show here. He got accused of all these things, never convicted or anything. But as a fan of the Velveteen Dream, as both of us were, love the Velveteen Dream. I have some of his merch lying around in my room somewhere.
Yes.
He was my favorite wrestler to watch on any brand, on any show. I loved the Velveteen Dream. And I firmly believe if the pandemic wasn't a thing and that if these allegations weren't if they weren't real or if they weren't true or if they false, I don't know. But he was primed to be the guy in WWE.
Oh,
not just NXT, WWE. This was the guy.
5 years old.
Patrick Clark, when he was on Tough Enough and he didn't win, I was like, this show's rigged. This show's dumb, and I hate it. He was the guy that stuck out from the bunch. Shit,
He's 19.
He's the only one that made it.
Yeah.
Everybody. Let me rephrase. And Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose, but I'm sorry, but none of them eclipsed the popularity of the Velveteen Dream. Not Mandy Rose, not Sonya Deville. Velveteen was the star of that class, and he was like when he was the NXT North American champion. It was great. He didn't need a belt to get over. He was that talented. He was that good at what he did. Great wrestler, one of the best elbows in the business. He was such a great wrestler and great personality. Then all the shit happened. And I don't want this to turn into a high spot, but like Victor Albane, friend of the show, friend of the channel, I want to read what he texted me the day of verbatim, because I think he had a great point that I emphasized the hell out of, because I thought this was do we got it? Do I got it? I'll find it in a minute. But Velveteen Dream to me is John Cena said he was going to be the face of WWE. That came from John Cena, of all people. Yeah. And then this stuff happens. Here we go. I don't know. This is from Victor Albane from the show. I don't know if there is a bigger downfall of anyone in wrestling in the past 15 years than the Velveteen Dream. I'll take it a step further. I don't think there's a bigger downfall of any wrestler of the 21st century.
Muhammad Hassan?
And let me specify. I'm not talking about Chris Benoit or anybody like that. That's different. Muhammad Hassan, I would say this is a bigger missed opportunity. You know why? I don't want to be that guy. Actually, I do want to be that guy. It's because he's black. Because Velveteen, he was Prince as a wrestler, as a black man in the world that we're living in now. I thought he was going to be the guy where we were like right now. It's like Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Yeah, Bobby's there, but I don't think Bobby has eclipsed the popularity right now. That Velveteen Dream was beyond over. And then all that bullshit happened. He got himself tied up in some shit. I did not read his statement on it. I don't have the heart to read it because it was long as hell and I don't want to be disappointed. But if it's not Velveteen, it's Muhammad Hassan, but I still would take Velveteen Dream.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't disagree with you. I mean, it's disappointing, but you know, especially in the world that we're living in today, WWE doesn't want to get mixed up in that, unfortunately.
Triple H, he'd get asked about it all the time, and he'd be like, "Oh, we're looking into it." And Velveteen, Patrick was at tapings of Raw. There were those reports that he was at Raw tapings.
Yeah,
and next day he gets dropped like a sack of potatoes.
It's very disappointing. It's incredible. A guy that, and I don't want to get into the allegations because we don't want to know. We don't know. It's so tough. It's just such a fucking. Sorry, it's a mess. It's a disaster. No. It's. Will we ever see Patrick Clark appear again? Is the question. You know what I mean? Does somebody want to take the chance on him? You know, Does he work towards clearing his name and then the WWE brings him back?
Oh man. If he gets damn it, because even wrestling fans don't forget. Wrestling fans never forget. The second you cross them for whatever reason, they will hold a grudge, and they'll have the camel clutch on it for the rest of the time. You know, right. And with this, even if if the allegations are false or if they're true, that man's life's over. But if they are false, I think the damage has already been done, man. Yeah. And I want to say it's redeemable if it's false, of course, if the allegations are false. But it's been over a year and nothing's happened. We've got no updates on this. And Triple H kept he's here, and then one day he's not. it's either A, they're true, or B, they gave up on him. And as a fan of his, or as a fan of the Velveteen Dream, not of Patrick Clark as a person, I was incredibly bummed out because, like I said, that was my favorite wrestler right now, right? But or of the last 10 years, I'll say that. But the stuff, like, wrestling fans will not forgive you for the things you've done in your personal life for good reason. That's why Hulk Hogan's name is dragged through the sand all the time.
Yeah,
and that's Hulk Hogan. Without Hulk Hogan, we're probably not talking about wrestling as big as it is right now.
right.
There are a lot of questionable people in wrestling, and a lot of them got outed last year for good reason. And Patrick Clark / the Velveteen Dream. Well, no, not him. Patrick Clark got outed for good reason.
Yeah.
And some folks that have come on this channel, Victor Albana said him, Jacob Pickett, adamant on that guy being the worst and how he should not be redeemed. And I totally understand, and I agree with them. It's just like the Velveteen Dream had so much potential in my eyes and in everybody's eyes that the second that the real life person, Patrick Clark, got himself in some shit, it was the biggest downfall of wrestling in the 21st century, in my opinion. And I cannot express how disappointed I am in words, because it truly does break my heart. I have an NXT cup in my apartment that I got from a show, and his damn face is on it.
It sucked. I wish that it wasn't the case, because something would have come of him. You know what I mean?
He would be on a main roster right now, and he'd be killing it on whatever show he'd be on.
Yeah,
I stand by that.
I you know, and I hope in the I don't know. I don't even know how to touch on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be like, oh, I hope in the future he figures everything out. Because
he could be a huge piece of garbage,
right?
And if that's the case, then all right, all right, cool. He deserved what he got. Don't act stupid, and we'd be in a whole different situation if he didn't. But hindsight's 2020. Gotta live in the present. He's still rocking through his stuff. He was released by World Wrestling Entertainment, and I know they kept the same energy for other folks, especially NXT UK, who were also people were speaking out against them, and WWE, they kept that same energy. But Velveteen and some other folks lying around, but on I don't want to say a smaller note, but Velveteen's was so crazy that it just took everybody's attention, and he hung around for a year, and now here he is. Got released recently. But to go back to the other ones, Alexander Wolf, Vanessa Bourne, and Jessamine Duke really shocked the hell out of me. Jessamine Duke, because I know like her ties with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey were his thing. Her and Marina Shafir. But I guess Jessamine Duke just got the boot. I know she wasn't on TV all that much recently, but she was on Up, Up, Down, Down. That's another blow to that channel. I feel like that channel changes every time they have a release cycle like this.
No doubt about it.
But I like these folks, with the exception of one. But the three I just mentioned, I like them. I thought they were really cool. Like Bourne, Wolf, and Duke. I thought they all had potential in some way, shape, or form, and they were just all misused to an extent. Especially NXT's women division. Like, yo, y'all have the best women's division in North America right now. Like, and this is what I know. There's probably a lot of names, and there's only too much. There's only 2 hours in the week that you have to share with a bunch of guys. So it's rough, but I like what you said. I think someone will pick them up, or maybe like Shimmer will do something. Shine will do something. And there's a bunch of other names as well, but those are a lot of folks that we didn't see on TV all that often, if at all. Some folks may have just been chilling in the PC, but I just want to spotlight those four for the sake of this. And
it's completely understandable that you would. I mean, like I'm completely there. It's tough. I want them to. The Alexander Wolf thing will always just kind of sit there with me, like, what are they doing? But wow, I can't believe that like we went through all that AEW segment and then we did this segment and then we're like, all right, well,
right. It's like just shake it off. And I mean, you know who's going through a tough time, Nick? Like a real tough time right now.
Who's that?
John Cena, because he got himself tied up with the Chinese government. But we'll talk about that off camera, because we're not talking about John Cena and his issues with China as a country, but we're going to talk about how he'll potentially redeem himself in America with wrestling. How should John Cena come back, Nick? That's the big question. The question on everybody's brain. How should John Cena come back? I'll put this here because I want to take that flag off.
I love that. So that's when you posed this question to me. I wanted to. It's weird. I mean, technically speaking, John Cena has not been Universal Champion yet. So if he's the one to beat the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, that could be really interesting.
Yeah.
So he could just be like, "Hey, your time is up. My time is still here." Oh,
ouch! Get him.
But I don't know. It's so tough. I mean, clearly you have to understand that John Cena does not exist in the WWE mythos anymore because of the Firefly Funhouse match.
Yes.
So I loved it when Adam Blampier booked the ending of John Cena's career. Spoiler alert, he turned him heel. Not necessarily the route that I think the WWE needs to go, because I don't think that John Cena will be there on a regular enough basis to make that mean anything. That said, a Fast and Furious match would be.
I think at this point, John Cena needs to stay away from promoting Fast 9 for a while.
Yeah, or we could have a sumo monster truck match.
Oh my God, Cena versus Vin Diesel, or Kevin Nash. I don't care.
Cena versus the Giant and Hulk Hogan in a where the Giant dies but then comes back and the Yeti makes his WWE debut.
That was one fun
you're
ass
going
show.
On somewhere. I like that.
Yeah, you're onto something. You're onto something.
So I want John Cena to be brought back in a Firefly Funhouse match where he escapes Bray's grasp.
Oh wow!
I want that, and then beyond that, I don't know what you do. You know. You could have him go after the Universal Championship. I honestly think that the way that things go, the WWE landscape of things is kind of going to be like how you bring The Rock back and stuff like that. Although, I do think that they could tease. See, I don't like WWE. I didn't like it when I knew that John Cena and The Rock were going to face against each other in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't like. In hindsight, I hated
WWE going, "Hey, here's Roman versus John Cena. It's going to happen in a year." Blech.
Right. Yeah, I don't like them booking matches a year in advance. I think that's done.
Yeah.
The only people I think I can do that are The Rock and Undertaker, and they're not there weekly or monthly at this point. Cena though, so the big rumor was that, like Nick, you mentioned it at the top of the show, and I'll get into it in my high spot. WWE is going back on tour in July. They're SmackDown and then Money in the Bank. They're doing that the same weekend in front of a crowd in Texas. So okay, great. I'm waiting for your Oklahoma dates, jerks. But they also announced some other ones that we might have a Friday night WatCon. That's gonna be awesome. We'll see. Yeah, out there in Cleveland, they're doing the Midwest. But the Cena's going to SmackDown. At least because that's the rumor that he'll be at the first SmackDown show. I don't like that. So in my world, he's popping up on Raw that Monday. And the guy he should go after and lose to and properly elevate is Bobby Lashley. I know it's obvious. This is not my original take. I'm be completely transparent like Cena. I'm be completely transparent. This is something I've heard 1,000 times, but I agree with it. like 1,000%. And yes, Matt, we can have a triple threat Fast and Furious match: The Rock, Cena, and Reigns. That's gonna be WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood, dude. That's gonna be.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I'm telling you, man, we can make the match happen.
Matt, you need to book WWE. You're doing a better job than I am.
Matt needs to book WrestleMania 39. Like blind. I want him to tell me what the match would be, what the card would be.
We'll give him all the wrestlers and we'll make it like a tier list. You know, like,
right.
One, here's your match 2.
We'll give him stips and wrestler names, and he'll put the matches together. That'll be on when we do Wild Real WrestleTainment. When we have everybody on, we'll have Matt do that.
Jesus. We came there after saying that.
No, but I think Cena should wrestle Lashley. I know that'll. Yeah, we've seen it before, but at this point in the careers, they're both drastically different wrestlers.
Yes.
And Cena's said 1,000 times that WWE is always his home, so he's going to come back and do some fun stuff. Yeah, I want Cena to wrestle people he hasn't wrestled before. I love to see Cena fight this new crop of talent. That I want to see Cena Lee really bad. Once Keith Lee comes back, I want him to wrestle John Cena. That's the first thing I want him to do.
Which, by the way, leave Keith Lee and Mia Yim alone.
Yeah, are people messing with them?
They're just trying to. Too many people are trying to divulge what is wrong with Keith Lee and where he is, and he doesn't want to get into the personal details of it.
Yeah, shut up. Leave people alone. Wrestlers are people. Damn it. I hate. Oh my god, it bothers me so much. But with Cena, I want Cena to wrestle new folks. At the same time, he should put over Bobby Lashley in the best way possible, and you can do that at Money in the Bank. Have Lashley be like, I don't have an opponent for Money in the Bank because I don't need one because I'm that good. And then it goes, doo, 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 and then they wrestle the next night. Like, I think you can do something like that and it work, have Cena lose. Cena's not going to win that 17th belt yet. But once we get there, it'll be worth it. Will it be against Roman? No. But I think Cena on Raw for now makes sense because Lord knows Raw needs it. Lord knows Raw needs it. He doesn't need to be on SmackDown. It makes sense for him to be on SmackDown because SmackDown's the A show. But
Fox will want John Cena though.
Fox will be like
probably want Yokozuna like Saudi Arabia did, so they'll bring some sumo wrestler out.
Yokozuna and the Ultimate Warrior, those two. May they rest in peace. But Cena on Raw makes sense right now. They need him. They really do. Yeah. And we'll get to Raw next. But how Cena should come back. I would love for him to come back in a Firefly Funhouse type of thing with him actually escaping. Like, I would love WWE to have some type of continuity for the first time in forever. Because Lord knows their continuity is all over the place.
John Cena just coming back doesn't make any sense. That's the issue.
Storyline-wise, it makes no sense. But at the same time, his
name has not been brought up in a very long time, though.
Yeah. Because honestly, they don't need him. That's why he's out here doing Peacemaker and Suicide Squad and Fast and Furious and all these things, because they don't need him. But right now, when they have fans back in some type of capacity, would it be cool to see John Cena back? 1,000%. Mm-hmm. I'm Mark Hard at WatCon Cleveland.
I have marked hard at WatCon Cleveland before we got coming out. I understand that feeling.
I've popped many times for John Cena in person. As a 20-something or as a late teen, I was literally the one, like, yay! me and a bunch of kids and ladies rooting for John Cena.
Yes.
But I
know he looks like JBL right now, and it'll be weird.
The hair, man. I'm not a big fan of the hair.
No.
I get it. You want to be an actor. You want to have some hair on your head. But damn, dude, I don't like the hair.
True cut John Cena is the best John Cena.
Question to you, kind of on topic, but at the same time not. If we ever do like another, what do we call them? Wrestle Reel reviews? Is that what we call them?
Yes.
Can we talk Fast and Furious one day? Like Fast 5? Because 5 through it's 5, 6, 7, Hobbs and Shaw, 9.
Real cast the Fast and Furious.
we can totes talk Fast and Furious. Not the first 4. and not 8. But the rest of them we can. 5, 6, 7, Hobbs and Shaw, and 9. And presumably 10.
I'm sure that we definitely could. Yeah.
We could tie that into Matt Thomas in the chat. You can do that next week. Maybe not. Maybe not next week. I think not Hobbs and Shaw. Fast 9 comes out late June. We'll revisit this conversation later. But I just want to put that out there now. Because, I'm excited for Cena to do more stuff. Going back to Taylor Cleek's comment a little bit earlier, best wrestler turned actor, I will be the first person to throw Cena's name in there. I'll be the first one. The first.
I don't know if I'd throw Cena's name in there.
I did.
Well, I mean, no.
There's different kinds of actors.
It has to be in there. There's a 3-person hierarchy to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just got to be where you place it.
Yes. Yeah, like obviously David Arquette, and then you do whoever the hell else. But Cena's name you have to include in that. But I would
David
argue
Arquette, Chucky when he was arguing with Rick Steiner, Dennis Rodman, Drew Carey.
Oh hell yeah, Drew Carey.
Regis Philbin. I don't know. I'm just thinking about.
Regis Philbin, I love you, brother. Matt Thomas in chat. There's wrestling represented in 5 through 9 in House and Shaw. Where is that in 8?
The Rock.
Is he in? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is.
Which one is he not in then?
9.
I mean, yeah. I thought he wasn't in a different one, or another one. I guess not. I must be getting confused. But yeah, okay, cool. Maybe yes, Akeem the African Dream.
Sorry, we're talking about. I just want to throw that out there.
No, let's do. I think this whole John Cena thing is a perfect transition into our 4th count. Let's fix Monday Night Raw for the love of God. Edition, baby, yeah, we love adding Wrestle Reel. The official.
I didn't think it would be so soon that we would have a 5-count show.
The first one was truly unprecedented. That one we planned like days ahead of time. But this one, when was it, Nick? We said on. I tweeted on Saturday or Sunday. No, I tweeted on Friday, and I kind of put the idea out there, like let's do that with Super Show. No worries. Well, I kind of like the fact that we have to add. It adds to our charm, and it adds to our overall charm of Wrestle Reel. But no, dude, let's fix Monday Night Raw. Like as a production, as a show. Like Nick, when I ask you, what's the first thing you fix about Raw? What is it? What's the first thing that comes to your brain?
First thing I will say is shout out to Ajaza Sadat. Why did I say Sadat? Ajaza Sadat appearing as one of the Bobby Lashley's posse on Monday Night Raw.
That's one of your classmates.
Huge fan. Yes, we were in show choir together. It was amazing when I saw that she had shared that. I didn't even realize it at first, and I was like, "That is amazing." Very happy to see that she is involved with wrestling now. We will have
do you think? Yeah. Do you think she'll come on our show to talk about it?
I think she might. I will have to message her.
That'd be cool.
Oh, gosh, how to fix Raw? Well, how about Raw's floundering mid card is the worst thing about Raw.
Ooh. Okay, let's hit the mid card. Hell yeah.
Well, it's just like their usage of talent is probably the worst thing about Raw. And the fact that it never feels like we're moving on from certain things. That's just kind of a WWE issue overall. But SmackDown seems to be adding more to the feuds that feel like they're never ending. Like, Roman's Reign of Terror doesn't necessarily feel like a reign of terror because he's so good at what he does. But like
that IC title picture is really damn cool.
And yes, but like here's what it is. Here's what it is overall. On Raw, nothing ever feels earned.
Oh.
On SmackDown and NXT and AEW, everything feels earned.
Oh.
And Impact, you could even throw in there. We haven't even shouted out Impact yet.
Much love, Impact.
Moose is our winner of that match, by the way. But nothing ever feels earned, which is why I think that, like, in the build-up to WrestleMania, I thought that the McIntyre-Bobby Lashley feud was terrible. I thought that the build-up was miserable.
Ooh, Nick Robot coming in hot. Go crazy.
But it's like the build-up was miserable for that. They do a lot of throwing shit together to see what sticks. You know, you got Riddle, RK Bro, which is working. Don't get me wrong, but if it didn't, then where are you gonna go from there? The whole Wyatt mess of a situation is on Raw. The weird Alexa Bliss thing that nobody knows what's going to end up
Rest
happening.
in peace, Larry Steve.
Yes, rest in peace, Larry Steve. That whole thing is a bunch of bullshit on her.
That's awful. That is everything that happened to Larry Steve, Alexa Bliss's pet pig. Horrendous. It's awful.
Seriously. But like, think about it. Like, and at the same time, things feel so obvious. Like, you can't tell me by the end of this whole thing that the doll is going to end up being Nikki Cross. Come on. I don't see how it's not. Their tag team division, weirdly enough, the tag team champions of Raw are one of the best things about Raw right now, but at the same time, they don't really have a lot of viable competition, especially if you're going to be moving Kofi out of nowhere. Kofi moving out of nowhere into the main event scene was, when by the way, everybody thought it was going to be Keith Lee, was the most jarring thing that Raw has done in a while.
He pinned Randy Orton and Bobby Lashley in the same night.
Which, yeah,
crazy as hell.
And like I said, that was the most jarring thing that the WWE has, or Raw has done in a while. Mm-hmm. And it's like their tag team division stinks because you'd think that RK Bro is going to be the next tag team champions, but there's no way that Randy Orton doesn't turn on Matt Riddle soon. So, you know, right now they're feuding with freaking Riker and
Elias.
Riker and Elias. Like, come on. Like, come on.
You said,
you really think that Omos is gonna, like, what?
You said, I love when when people say stinks, like, just casually, and you're just like, the tag division stinks.
It does. That's the thing. Sorry. Here we go.
It's fact.
The tag team division fucking sucks on Raw.
Nick Mobach, that's 3 in this show.
But that's the thing. Like, the United States Championship scene stinks on Raw because they're not going through with anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it now seems like Ricochet is the one who's going to be feuding with Sheamus, but it was Calero, it was Mansoor out of nowhere, and now he's gone. It's like,
right.
It's like everything on Raw feels just like nothing is earned and everything is a disaster.
To address to address what you're talking about, yes, you have 3 hours to fill. 3 whole ass hours. To me, I think that's your first problem. It'll never change, but no. I will never forgive them for going 3 hours. Never. It was cool when I was in high school and I had the time. Now I don't. But it is what it is. I'll cry about it later. Mm. Your mid-card titles, so your tag belts and your United States Championship. I like Sheamus with the belt a lot. I really do.
Too.
Him wrestling guys like Carrillo and Ricochet. Yes, I'm cool with that. Now, how he's beating the shit out of certain people. I know Carrillo was fighting back for a minute, and then Ricochet's like, bro, I got this. I don't like that. We can have multiple people in the title picture, right. Especially on Raw, where Lord knows you have a lot of people. You have more people than SmackDown, and you got you have 3 hours to kill. You have 3 hours to kill. So have multiple people in your United States title picture. It's okay. It's okay, WWE. It's okay. And we're not going to cry about, you have Humberto Carrillo and Ricochet. We love them. They're great. Put them on TV more. Utilizing the talent, like how we were talking about earlier, Nick, with AEW and how they succeed at having feuds without belts, right? Yes. Now, this is something that Raw and SmackDown to an extent lack. It's hard for me to give a shit. I do not give a shit about Drew Gulak and Angel Garza.
No.
Or arguing with each other wrestling. I bet the wrestling is great. I don't give a shit. Fun fact, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo related, and they share the same name. They're both named Humberto Carrillo. Google it. But the mid card is squandering. I think it's because it's the lack of fleshed out good character and giving people opportunity. What the hell's Jeff Hardy doing? Oh, he's getting his shit stomped on main event.
Yeah.
Like what's why? He's Jeff Hardy. first ballot Hall of Famer, freaking multiple-time world champion, Grand Slam champion. He's had a F ton of belts in his career, and he's out here getting stomped on main event. Come on, now you can't be doing that. Put Jeff Hardy in a title picture with Sheamus, Ricochet, and GD Humberto Carrillo. Have something new. Flesh out these characters. Like, I know y'all are writing like these are actors, right? And that's fine. But as long as the wrestling backs it up, then we're not going to bitch. And to your point about Alexa Bliss, why is she the Fiend now? I know that Bray Wyatt isn't in the best place right now. At least supposedly the reports are he's still dealing with some personal things. Okay, that's fine. But you're going to make Alexa Bliss the Fiend in the meantime? That's not what I signed up for. That's not what anyone signed up for. And yes, Alexa Bliss had like a resurgence in character teaming with or doing stuff with Bray Wyatt, but Bray's not there.
Right.
And you want to keep that character around, and it's just not working. It's not working. And if I were them, I would keep Alexa off. I would just drop that and replace it with something else of substance. You have the people to do that. You have the folks to do it. Give the ladies more time. I'm tired of seeing Charlotte, Asuka, and Rhea Ripley in every match ever. For the love of God. You have all these great wrestlers. Have them go matches longer than 5 minutes long without interference.
Do you realize how much I want a Shayna Baszler Rhea Ripley match?
And let them go for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
For the love of God? Like, is it hard? It can't be that hard. Like, but apparently it is. And I know they're still trying to book Rhea as a face. She's not. She's not a baby face. They're trying to book her as a face, and she's not. You can't have her beat the shit out of Nikki Cross and expect us to root for that. You can't. Yeah. You can't. And I love Rhea Ripley. It's not her fault. They're just booking her into a corner, and
Becky Lynch needs to come back as well. And you want to know another thing that WWE, something I was thinking about, and maybe I'm just blind and I just don't realize it. I mean, if I take my contacts out, I am. But
I can't say anything right now.
Raw after WrestleMania, you brought back a tag team, and where have they been?
What was the
Raw after WrestleMania? You brought the Viking Raiders back.
Oh shit! That's a great point, Nick. That's a great point.
They're gone again. Goodbye.
Like, but you're gonna have the belt. I get why you put the belt on Omos and AJ Styles. I get it. But for Raw to succeed, why the hell isn't AJ in the main event picture?
It's
putting him
that.
Putting him at Omos was cute to begin with, but
you have a brand new tag team that has formed in Mason T-Bar, even though we hate them, that could definitely be feuding with AJ and Omos right now. Cough, 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 cough. We don't need Elias and...
You mean my son is Caucasian?
...to be feuding with the tag team champions.
Right.
Sorry, I had to do that. But
that was good.
Thank you. But I don't know. It's such a freaking disaster right now. Nikki Cross is on Raw. Do you remember that? Even though I guess she beat Rhea Ripley in a weird beat the clock challenge match
Why are we having beat the clock matches for no damn reason?
Right?
Like what's the point of that? What is the point? When I first pitched this segment to Nick, I knew we were going to bitch the whole time. And that's why the fifth count is us talking about the good things that we like. But, Raw is a mess. Raw should not be a mess. Raw is the signature television program. And when I said in confidence on this show that if Dynamite keeps going the way it is, they will eclipse Raw in the ratings one day, and we're not ready for it. The wrestling world ain't ready for it.
Did you know Slapjack is still on Raw?
Yeah, shout out to Shane Thorne, wherever he's doing.
I'm just looking to see how many women are actually on the Raw roster, and there's not a lot.
There's not a lot, and I know there are rumors of NXT call-ups.
But Naomi is on the freaking Raw.
Mm-hmm. Naomi's on there, and what's she doing? Jack shit. She's doing cringy promos to promote tours that WWE are doing.
I mean, SmackDown has such a better women's roster, and they're killing it with them.
And I think it's smaller.
Yeah,
and they got less time because it's a 2-hour show.
Yeah,
like that's what I don't understand, dude. You know what? Here, let me offer some light, some levity into this. When I was thinking about how do you fix Raw, the one thing that I think needs to happen, and you put this son of a bitch on Raw, and only Raw. You can have other people from other brands jump in, and maybe even NXT UK. If the world's opening back up, fly some hosts from over there too. You do King of the Ring. You do this again. It's a bigger tournament. It's exclusively hosted on Raw. Exclusively. You can have folks from Raw, SmackDown, NXT UK if you want. You can have folks debut in this tournament. You have
King Walter.
I mean, look, because I know Nakamura and Corbin are feuding right now, and Corbin's been king for way too damn long. Give him his first name back. You can have him in the damn tournament. You know, I believe that King of the Ring should come back. You can do it. You can start it in June or July and have the finale be at SummerSlam.
Queen of the Ring?
Yo! First ever Queen of the Ring? Again, you have a bank. You have a wealth of women's talent.
We know Charlotte will win it, but like...
I mean...
Queen Charlotte has just been... Basically, they trademarked that name years ago.
That's been her name for years, bro.
Right. Like,
but to have a Queen of the Ring would be cool. You can run those simultaneously. And this is how you build storylines out of this. You build more character out of this. You give folks time to wrestle every week. This could be a big ass tournament for the women's division and the men's division. Have them go for the entire summer, but the finales culminating at SummerSlam. Like that. Imagine that, dude. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And you have all these folks just lying in wait, waiting for the time to shine. You can have Angel Garza and Drew Gulak face one another to advance in the King of the Ring tournament, while advancing their storyline together, also while giving them time to wrestle on screen. You do this on Raw exclusively, but you have other folks from other shows pop in. Not wild card bullshit. It's exclusively for King of the Ring. That's the only reason. And you can even make some fun out of it. You can have like folks enter their name themselves. Bring back that levity, that comedy. Like as much as people hate to talk about the PG era, it was awfully light and wholesome sometimes. Like the damn Muppets were on Raw one time, and I thought it was great. But you can have folks like chum it up with one another. And I get it, pandemic restrictions. I totally understand. But y'all are touring in July. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Or in late June. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's not an excuse anymore. Y'all want to be in front of thousands of people. Y'all can have more than 2 wrestlers on screen at once. It's possible, especially in backstage segments. King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, to your point. That's my big suggestion. The main event picture, I don't have too many issues with. Lashley, McIntyre, even Kingston. Kingston's a much needed levity to that. I'm tired of seeing Lashley and McIntyre wrestle every week. I do think you still need AJ Styles in that. Get the belts off of him and Omos for the love of God. But right now, Kofi is a good injection of positivity. Yes, pun intended. And he can obviously hang. Kofi Kingston can hang. He may not be the best wrestler of the bunch, but he's damn good. He's damn good. If he's out here putting on that's my one 5-star matches with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania a few years ago, he can do it here on Raw with Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley. It's possible. The main event picture, I don't have an issue with. Mid-card, you do King of the Ring. Have that shit last throughout the summer. You can start that at your first live show. You can have, at that SmackDown, you can be like, oh, yo. Like, you can announce it on Raw that Monday. On SmackDown, you have SmackDown competitors. Maybe you do qualifiers so you can represent SmackDown in that thing. Mm-hmm. There's so many, the opportunity that can come from this, the character building, the feuds that can come out of this. It just makes sense to me. Granted, I'm just a stupid little boy from Northwest Oklahoma, but it makes sense.
It does.
And you get that damn title off of Corbin. Tired of that. Give Corbin his name back, for the love of God.
So I do want to make a Wrestle Reel correction.
Chris, you're mess up.
Screen yourself. Well, it's not. You didn't mess anything up. But I was looking on I was looking at everything like between NXT has the biggest women's roster, right?
Yeah, figured.
By the way, Velveteen Dream is still listed under NXT. Weird. But I was looking up something with Shotzi Blackheart, and she was on that season of Tough Enough.
Yeah, she left for medical reasons. Yeah. Yes.
So
yes.
I'm just saying, there's a little bit more success.
She was disqualified.
Your girl was on there.
I didn't count her from the initial wave because she was medically disqualified. But I'm glad she's here now. She is one of my favorites wrestling right now. In any brand, any show.
It's just I agree. They need something to spice things up. But
no wild card bullshit either.
Is that we love wrestling. We just bitched about it, but we really do love wrestling.
That's why we do the show, man.
We're going to do a little bit of a discussion as to what we've loved this year so far.
Let's do it. I love math. I really love that. I don't want the 4 and the 5. I want to keep doing that. No, so seriously, we're halfway through the year. It's almost June, and and I know, but the next show we do will be in June. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. We can. I think it's appropriate to do like a halfway through the year type of thing because we started off this year doing our favorite things of 2020 with Soda. Shout out to Soda. But I thought it'd be fun for us to do something like this, especially after how heavy the last few topics have been. But Nick, off the top of the dome, man, what's something you like in regards to wrestling so far? Match, wrestler, show, whatever. What do you like, brother? What's good?
Britt freaking Baker.
It's going to start.
The emergence of two women's wrestlers that I love, Britt Baker and Indy Hartwell.
Yeah,
both doing things that both advancing their characters and moving up and continuing to grow. Even though I would argue that Britt Baker's kind of developed the man gimmick a little bit, but love Britt Baker. But AEW needs that. Love Britt Baker. Love Indy Hartwell. Putting on that women's TLC match, one of my favorite matches of this year. But yeah. Britt Baker, Indy Hartwell, make my list.
I do. I love the. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Duh. Indy Hartwell. I love what Indy's been doing this year solely because I didn't know who she was a year ago.
Yes.
And I know she's been wrestling for a minute, and with what she's been doing with the Way, I will put the Way on there. Austin Theory, his personal life aside, I know he's another one of those guys. But Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae too. Candice LeRae finally has gold in NXT. I've been clamoring for that. I've been bitching about it on this show for months. But Indy Hartwell's been the star of that. They built her on the backs of Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. They made her a star. I do think that WWE has something with Indy Hartwell, with indie wrestling. I do think so. And Britt Baker, she's someone that's already had a following. And they had she was a babyface for freaking ever. And then when she turned heel, it's the best thing ever. But that match with Thunder Rosa, who I will also throw into the mix as well. Thunder Rosa and AEW has been awesome, at least for me as a fan. Yeah. I love me some Mexicano representation. But the three of those ladies, Indy Hartwell, Britt Baker, and Thunder Rosa, for me, have really done the job, at least in regards to wrestlers I wasn't the biggest fan of or I didn't know. And I saw them this year, and I'm like, yeah, like they're really good. I love seeing them on TV every week. When Thunder Rosa was off of AEW for a while, I was like, oh, that sucks. But they built Britt as they should. And Britt's going to beat Hikaru Shida on Sunday, and it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for her to have the belt and hold it for a minute. But the three of those ladies, I will put on the pedestal alongside my favorite match of 2021 so far, and nothing's touched it since Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair Night 1 WrestleMania.
Agreed.
Like those five, that match, that one singular match to me, nothing's come close to it. And that match made me feel all these things. Mm-hmm. Even before the bell even rang, I came on this show all the time, every single week, and I talked about it, how much I wanted that match, the build to that match, how it was set in stone, how it was perfect, and how you didn't need great characters to do it. Like, yeah. And they killed it. They had the best match of the weekend in my eyes. The Triple Threat Night 2 is also pretty damn good. But the first main event of Night 1, or the main event of Night 1, was where the party was at to me. WrestleMania Night 1 as a whole, Bad Bunny wrestling that night was insanity, and it was really damn good. But that main event, seeing two black women main event WrestleMania and seeing Sasha Banks freaking crying before the match even starts, breaking character completely, and Bianca just absolutely losing it. That hair whip spot, I will never forget that sound because I thought something had happened, or like a rope snapped or something. But it was hair to skin contact, and it was disgusting, and I loved it. But that match to me, it's why I watch wrestling. That match is why I watch wrestling.
Yeah, no, I can't
stuff like that.
And I would say WrestleMania as a whole, overall, the fact
man.
that fans were back there. They had some questionable things that they did, like the Fiend losing to Randy Orton.
Night 2 was weird, man.
And Night 2 was just weird overall.
Weird night.
Our boy Logan Paul participating, but like our boy, not our boy. But I don't know. I really enjoyed WrestleMania. I really, really, really enjoyed WrestleMania a lot.
Having fans back in a big show like that, and I'm probably gonna feel the same when I get to watch Double or Nothing on Sunday. I'll probably feel the same way that the butterflies in my stomach, and us getting to do the Wrestle Real Talks and the watch alongs on the channel this year have been a lot of fun, and we're gonna keep doing them for the big shows or when Nick and I have time.
Absolutely,
because it's a lot of fun to do, and like we were all super excited, and I love doing those WrestleMania watch alongs. Like the shows were good. Granted,
good,
Night 2 was weird, but it was fun. And like again, shit like that it reminds me why I watch wrestling. Because don't get me wrong, like the whole conversation we just had about Raw, I'm over here watching Raw or listening to recaps or watching recaps. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why is wrestling so stupid? And then
wonder.
Right, and then we have shows like WrestleMania, and I'm over here like, damn, that's why I watch wrestling. This is it right here. Like the reaction, how it makes me feel, how much I give a shit about these people, and that whole WrestleMania show was great. The Rumble, it was weird, but how they adjusted to no fans physically being there was something to spotlight as well. Like, yeah, I may not have liked the winner, but it was. I like that. I commend WWE for trying and for in a way succeeding. Like for a show, for a pay-per-view that relies on fan response, they did a really good job of doing that show.
Carlito coming back.
That was big ass surprise, big pop from the Wrestle Reel boys. It was so much fun. Again, maybe the Wrestle Real Talk that day elevated that experience for me. But damn it, like I loved watching wrestling this year. Like I just had a lot of fun watching the shows, and a lot of them didn't have fans. A majority of them didn't have fans. And another thing I want to spotlight was I just had it. NXT.
Yes.
As a whole. NXT, is it me or did NXT get cooler over the pandemic?
Always does.
Like NXT is like them doing the Capitol Wrestling Center and the whole aesthetic of that, the takeover, what they call it, pirate ship, takeover, Stand and Deliver.
Stand and Deliver, yeah.
Yeah, Stand and Deliver. Those are really great shows with great matches, because what else do we expect? Jessica Nieves and Jeff. What's going on, Jess? Long time no talk. Hi, Nick and Chris. Loving the look, Chris. Sending all the love to you guys. Right back at you.
Sending love back.
I appreciate it. I got to get crazy for Wrestle Reel. You already know. But damn, wrestling is so. This year was just. It was eye-opening to me, and it was a nice reminder of why I watch wrestling and getting to do this show.
Exactly. All the time. I mean, and that's the thing. We love wrestling. We want it. We want it to thrive, and the fact that even last year was a testament to how much we love wrestling when it thrived through the pandemic and it's thriving coming out of the pandemic. Now, I do believe you have a high spot when it comes to that. And
to an extent, I do want to say one more thing though.
I do too. I was gonna say.
Oh, I'll go and you'll wrap us up for this count. But representation fucking rules in wrestling, and seeing like the Mysterios being the tag champions and Big E winning the Intercontinental Championship the way he did, and then Apollo Crews and Bobby Lashley winning the World Heavyweight or the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston being shot back into the limelight, and there's a lot of Bianca and Sasha, obviously, and the women on both shows. As much as we like to give Raw shit, I think Asuka, Charlotte, and Rhea are a spotlight on Raw. And yeah, they may be wrestling each other every week, but it's better than nothing. So representation in wrestling.
You gotta look at it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, representation in wrestling this year was awesome. Hopefully. Another guy, going back to AEW for a second, Scorpio Sky gets more love too. Hopefully,
yes, I agree. And NXT's tag team division has been very strong this year. Loved it. MSK making their debuts. Grizzled Young Vets, another great Dusty classic. On both sides of the reign.
Got Fire Pit out of that. Too.
Where I was gonna say where. Raw and SmackDown's women's tag team division is not thriving. The NXT women's tag team division has been a breath of fresh air, though I don't believe that they need their own tag team division or titles, because they should just have the regular women's tag team titles. And you know what? I'm going to end this on a high note for the women's tag team division, and that is that Natalya and Tamina, I think, are going to bolster it, and I really hope that they do. Let's hope Tamina getting her first real gold in the WWE, and Natalya continuing to grow her legacy. Let's hope for that. But that said, we have one more segment for you. One more. And thank you for everybody who has stuck with us to the end of this crazy show.
Already know.
That said, Chris Anthony Lopez, will you be getting angry or will you be happy this high spot?
We'll see. High spots, baby. And Nick, by the way, I'm so glad you mentioned Tamina and Natalya. I forgot about them for a second.
And that's the thing, is that it did feel like though Nia and Shayna's run was weird. I wouldn't say it was good. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, Tamina and Natalya coming out of this as the champions in what felt like some form of a storyline. Something that isn't necessarily happening a lot in the Raw sphere of things.
Right.
Even though it did transition between shows, it does feel nice to finally actually care a little bit about the women's tag team championships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it main evented a Raw.
Right. On some real shit, dude.
Yeah. So keep bringing that prominence back to those titles.
You already know, Bubba. Well, My high spot. This really can turn into a dark match. So by all means, Nick, if you want to chime in on this,
that's why I'm here, buddy.
When WWE announced fans coming back to shows, or them touring again, becoming the circus that they are, everything I just said about wrestling in the last few months, I cannot wait to go to another wrestling show.
Agreed.
I am eager. And I know AEW announced recently they're touring again, starting in Florida and moving their way west. WWE, obviously in Florida, moving their way to Texas. Both people starting in Texas, so I got to go to a Texas show. Who the hell knows? But I am cautiously optimistic at how this is going to go. Of course, I'm terrified because this pandemic's still real. Folks, wear your masks. Go get vaxxed. Be careful still. Numbers are down, but caution's still up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But
you'd hope.
Yes. Oh, I mean, hopefully everything's going to be fine with these shows. But with how WWE has been going and with fans coming back to shows, I'm over the moon. I just hope WWE, I hope you are ready to hear all these bad ideas you've been implementing and fans just shit on them endlessly.
Woo!
Seth Rollins, we talked about you in the show like a month ago. I'm gonna bring you back up one more time. Yes, fans dictate storylines, probably for the better. I mean, we look like the Yes Movement, Kofi Mania, fan driven, man. Some of the best things that happened to wrestling in the last 50 years. Like that's ever. Ever. Some of the best things that happened to wrestling ever. Because he lets ever. But God, I love Chris Jericho, dude. When fans are coming back, and I hope you are ready to hear our voices and to change what the hell you got going on. Cesaro, I'm glad y'all pulled the trigger on that. Just wait till he gets put in front of a crowd.
Oof.
Like then you're really gonna hear it. And we sit here every single week and we sometimes talk about the news and what's going on the shows and all this crazy stuff. We dedicated our whole fourth count to Raw. Just wait till you do a Raw in front of a crowd. Just wait till you do a Raw in front of a crowd. It's gonna make or break what you've been doing. It's gonna be eye-opening to see what fans in real life react to. It won't just be hashtags and tweets. It's gonna be boos, cheers, groans, CM Punk chants, because those will never die. I am adamant. I will go out of my way to watch the first SmackDown and Raw. I will go out of my way to watch those shows. I don't care what the hell I'm doing. Typically, I'm tied up on Friday nights like I will be this week, watching some movie trivia on the internet. But right here, watching some damn wrestling and hearing the fans come back in their full capacity, like how WrestleMania was.
It's gonna be beautiful.
But now it's the weekly product. It's different. And it's not the first show. The same, like you did WrestleMania, and that's great. And you're probably gonna get a good reaction everywhere you go to start the show. It's how you end it. That's the question.
Keep it up.
We'll see, baby. We'll see. Roman Reigns, man. Like I think the crowd's gonna react great to. I think we're gonna love Roman Reigns. We're probably gonna cheer that mofo.
Yeah.
But it's the other folks. Like I know that they love Sami Zayn right now. They love Kevin Owens. They love Cesaro. They're loving the New Day and McIntyre, Lashley. Put them in front of a crowd and let's see what happens on a weekly basis again for the first time in over a year and a half.
Fans are gonna hijack this stuff, man. Fans are going to freaking hijack it,
and I can't wait, dude. I love the excuse me. I love the uncertainty of a wrestling crowd. I know in some cities and states you know what to expect, like Chicago, like Philly, New York, Brooklyn, Houston. You know what you're expecting. You know the crowd you're expecting. But in Cleveland, Ohio, that's what I want to know, right? Like how are Cleveland fans going to react to SmackDown? Hopefully, we'll find out firsthand. So
we're gonna love it.
Cool.
It's gonna be beautiful. I can't wait. I can't wait to I can't wait for that first night with fans back when we hear.
Oh God.
Because remember, it's a waste of time for him to appear on wrestling without,
When Brock comes back,
Brock's gonna come back and he's gonna be like,
"Give me a fucking mic!"
Oh God!
And then Goldberg's gonna.
Oh Jesus! The whole look. When Brock comes back, it's a whole different count for a whole different show. But when he does, I'm not ready for it. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And I'll reserve judgment until we get there. But Nick,
I want a Brock Lesnar Firefly Funhouse match. That's what
Lord. There's no way he'd do that.
I want a Scott Steiner Firefly Funhouse match.
He's fat!
Now you're speaking my language, Nick.
Dude, do you think that this will show up in a Vince McMahon Firefly Funhouse match?
You mean my son is Caucasian?
No. By the way, quick thing before we wrap. Yeah. I saw a WWE Elite figure at Target this past weekend. It was John Cena, ruthless aggression. It was that one. But it had a little Vince McMahon puppet like the Firefly Funhouse.
No way!
I swear to God.
That's
to God.
Awesome. Love that.
I don't know if it was like ruthless aggression or if it was him doing that again in the thing. But on the picture on the side, it had young John Cena, not older looking young John Cena. But I don't know.
Are they doing Build-A-Figures maybe?
Are they doing what?
Build-A-Figure?
Maybe they're doing what's it call it, the Firefly Funhouse mascots with other figures with that line, but I only saw the Cena one. I almost bought it. Just so I can show it on this show and have it prominently displayed on here. But I got Bo-Katan instead at Walmart. But that's a whole different conversation for a whole different show. But Nick, did we miss anything on the show, brother? Another 5-count ski for Wrestle Reel.
A 5-count ski, and we still managed to keep it around 2 hours long.
Yeah.
No, I think we hit everything. We had a very, very, very long first count that I loved. It was fantastic. But no, man, I am loving everything that we're doing here on Wrestle Reel, and I am so entirely obviously grateful that everybody has joined us here today. Shout out to everybody who has joined us on the show.
I already know.
And yeah, I would imagine that we will be back. To answer your question, Chris, I believe it has interchangeable heads, which is why it came with that figure. I just looked it up myself because I wanted to see if there was like a Build-A-Figure thing because I love those. No, it comes with an old John Cena head and it comes with a young John Cena head.
Gotcha.
So you could switch them out. One of them has his JBL hair. The other one has crew cut John Cena.
Damn, I should have bought it. Damn it!
Why didn't it does come with that? It comes with an old WWE mic, surprisingly enough. With like the old logo on it before it transitioned into what it is right now, and then it comes with the Vince McMahon puppet, which is freaking amazing. I need to see if I can find that figure myself.
Damn it! I should have bought it. I've seen it a couple times. So I passed on it every time. I'm so stupid, Chris.
No,
but
I just want. Is it funny that I literally would buy that just for the Vince McMahon puppet?
That's why I told you about it. Just
like good shit, brother.
Good shit. But to all the folks watching or who did watch, thank you so much. Yes, we had a show on Wednesday. If you're watching this at a later time, we apologize. This is kind of just like thrown together. But I mean, we will be back next Friday because this Friday we had some things going on both of our ends. So next Friday, hopefully we're right back out of here. And if you don't hear from us in between now and next Friday on the channel, follow us down the social medias below. We always will tweet about Wrestle Reel if we're going to have it or not on Fridays, or if it's pre-recorded live. See Anthony Lopez on Twitter, Nick Mulfilm, MUHL Film on Twitter, and of course our Instagram, so you can see at the bottom of the screen as well.
It's a weird set, by the way. I just would like to acknowledge, because from what I see so far, it's just Vader and John Cena.
It's like Vader, Cena, China
DDP has one.
DDP. Oh, Bobby Heenan has one. I've seen a lot of Heenans in the last few weeks.
DDP is a pre-order that sold out, and then there's also a Brutus Beefcake that sold out.
Oh, word!
It comes with the World Tag Team Championship.
Shout out to Brutus Beefcake. But subscribe to the subscribe to What Real Entertainment. Subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of fun stuff going on here. Whether it's obviously Wrestle Reel, typically on Fridays. For today, one time only, brother. Right here on Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. You'll see Wrestle Reel, except this week. Hopefully, we'll announce it on Twitter or something beforehand if you do it again. Of course, on Saturdays, I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We have Saber Reels, Real Talk on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Nick, do we know who's going to be on Real Talk this week?
I don't know if we have a show this week, actually, because it's
Memorial Day
for the weekend. Because I know that Matt and I's family, and if I talked to Matt earlier, he said that, or we agreed that if we didn't have anybody booked, then we wouldn't do a show, just because then we can recoup and continue to book people moving forward. Because I think that the first batch of people that we booked is up now, except for like 1 or 2 people. So we're still getting ready for that. But no, yes. So we will be back. We do not have any we just had a show though, with Alex Day Corville. We talked about his projects. So if you want to go and check that out, please do. But this week, their chances are great will be no real talk just because of the holiday. Families getting together because obviously everybody's vaccinated and feeling good. So, but we will be back. We will be back.
Yes, of course. And in the second it's back here, Real Talk, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central on Sundays. Spin from the Reel, a Schmodown reaction show. I was talking about movie trivia earlier. That's what we do on Mondays. 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Myself, Matt Thomas, and Suge Knight, 323, the man himself. Suge, you saw him pop up earlier in the chat. What's up, Suge? How you doing, brother? And that's every Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We will have a show this upcoming Monday. It's Memorial Day. We're having our Spin from the Reel cookout / carne asada, depending on what background you come from. So we will be having our cookout on Spin from the Reel this upcoming Monday for Memorial Day, and we'll have guest Lacey Gillerin of The Den. Yes, Star Wars competitor and a member of Homeboy and the Heartbreakers, my movie trivia Schmodown fantasy league. But I'll talk about that on Spin from the Reel. And one show I cannot forget to mention because my man was hanging out in the chat earlier. Really Scared on Thursday.
George freaking Thomas this week.
George Thomas, a.k.a. Matt Thomas Sr., will be on Really Scared this upcoming Thursday, and he will be talking about The Lost Boys with our homies Connor Breedlove and Taylor Cleek. So George Thomas, the man from he's like the godfather of Watt Real Entertainment. We love George over here. And he's like the godfather of WWE, but on Watt too. Like he gives the same energy when you really think about it. We have a lot of fun stuff here. Subscribe to the channel, like us. If you're on Facebook, Watt or Who Are They? Real Podcast or Real Entertainment on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Watt Real Ent. We have a lot of fun stuff. For Wrestle Reel for Watt Real Wrestletainment. I did say
you
that
said
earlier,
it. I couldn't help but love that. I'm gonna be Brother Brutai next week.
For Watt Real Wrestletainment, aka Nick Mulbach, my name's the Mexican Nightmare, Chris Anthony Lopez. It is a Watt Boy summer over here on Watt Real Entertainment, and we'll see you guys next time. Adios. Bye.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.